Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Talking Dogs with Ante. I'm your host, Ante Lucin, and as you already know, January is the month in which we are talking to so-called master breeders, some of the most famous dog breeders from all around the world, and it's not going to be any different tonight, obviously. My guests tonight, and it is the first time that I'm going to have the three guests in the same time, are owners of Almanza, kennel of flat-coated retrievers. Definitely one of the most influential kennels in Europe, and I don't think that many kennels in the world can actually say that they had that kind of success that Almanza had during the years. One of the persons from Almanza team I know personally. The other two ladies I have never met like this a little bit longer. We just chat but never met in live and spoke longer. So it's the same exciting for you as it is for me. I'm sure that they are going to be happy to know that it's already in the first 3 minutes over 190 people watching, and numbers are just going up. So it's going to be very interesting. I know a lot of you are excited about this interview. So let me introduce my guest tonight. First of all, Ragnhild, who has been, let's say, the mother queen of Almanza Kennel. Susie and Patrick, welcome to Talking Dogs with Ante. Good evening. How are you?
I'm fine.
Good.
Everybody's fine.
Happy to be here.
You see how good they are, because I told them that they cannot speak all at the same time. So now they have been like, and who should say something? Okay. Anyhow, what I want to say, first of all, is that obviously my picture and maybe some of their picture from time to time are going to be a little bit blurred because we are 6 persons on the call. But I can assure you that in a real life, we are all very beautiful. So check our profile photos and you will see it's not as bad as it looks now if it's blurred. And then second thing, what I want to ask you, of course, the same thing that I'm asking you every Wednesday, make a picture of your screen, put it on Instagram, tag me and put hashtag Talking Dogs with Ante, that you are watching the interview with the Almanza people, and more people will join. I always appreciate your stories on Instagram, and I share them later. It's always, as I say, more people are watching, it is always more fun. Anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, it is 200 people watching for the moment, and the numbers are going up. I got a message from Anna Sabo before the interview. She said this is definitely going to be one of your top 5 interviews, so I hope so. My first question is going to be the same question for all 3 of you. Ragnhild, you can answer the first one. The question is, what was your last show, and what are you hoping to be your first show after this crazy pandemic?
Oh, my last show before the pandemic was in Norway. It was in Bø in February, together with Patrick and some other friends, Thomas Kasterborg, some very lovely puppy buyers. So we had a fantastic weekend there. Missed you, Susie. But it was a wonderful weekend and fantastic results. And if we ever could imagine what was in front of us, we would have enjoyed it even more, I think.
Yes. So you are soon celebrating your anniversary without shows, like many of us.
Yeah.
And what are you hoping it's going to be the first show for you this year?
Oh, I hope it will be in the summer. I don't think it's realistic to think it will begin earlier than that.
Okay. Let's see. Susie, the same question for you.
The last show that I showed dogs at was Finland, 2019.
Oh la la! You have already had your anniversary.
So that's the last show for me, and hopefully the shows might start in May, June. I don't know. Fingers crossed.
A long break, definitely. And,
yeah.
And Patrick, what about you?
My last show was a specialty show. I think it was sometime during the summer, in August maybe. Yeah, and I hope that maybe we will be able to go to crafts if there will be any crafts. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, let's hope. Okay, there is now. I have just a little problem with my computer as usual. So I see that there are a lot of comments. I will try to fix it just now, and I will try to read some of them. Maybe there are already some questions. I don't know. Let me see if I can. There are. Let me see. 1 second, please, because my computer is old, and I'm all the time saying that I need to buy a new one, but it's not happening because I cannot decide which one I should buy. Anyhow, yes, it's 220 people watching already, and there are 46 comments, which obviously for some reason I cannot open at the moment. But as soon as I open them, I will read them to you. What I want to ask you now, it's another question, which is going to be the same one for all three of you. And this is just something that I would like the people to find out about you before we start with the actual Almanza story. How did you? Well, let's say your background with the dogs. Did your family have dogs? How did you get in contact with your first purebred dog? What was actually your start in this world? But wait me just 1 second, because the comments have opened now for me. So I will try to read just few of them that you can see that people are watching from all around the world. Carlos is watching from Colombia, Ana Luce from Italy, Karen from Tel Aviv, Johan from Sweden, Svetlana is saying greetings from Ukraine. Thank you, Ante, for so interesting interview. Lindsay is saying you all still look very beautiful. Thank you, Lindsay. That's quite nice. Monica is watching from Poland. Alex is watching. I cannot see it; it's too small, the picture, but I think it's Colombia or Mexico or something like this. Frederica from Sweden. Many people, obviously, from Sweden watching. Elzbeta from Czech Republic. Lisbeth from Denmark. Yanis from Greece. Okay. We have a message here from a person that I suppose all of you know. Her name is Hilde Oware. She says, Ragnhild and Susie, I am very grateful as a mom for the opportunity and trust you gave to my son Patrick, and for seeing potential in the younger generation to keep the Almanza legacy forward to the next generation. But I have to say, the shedding of flat-coated is not my cup of tea. Love you, girls. I think, Patrick, I think you need to hoover the house more often. That's what I would take out from this. Jose Doval is saying, hello, ladies, gentlemen, and the rest of you. As Marion Spevin used to say, everything ready to enjoy a masterclass for any dog lover, but especially for the big retriever family around the world. Let me see. Okay, people are watching from South Africa, from Romania, from Finland, from Croatia, from everywhere. So I will try to... Gemma has asked a question, but Gemma, you just keep on watching the interview. I have that question ready for them, so you will get quite soon your answer. Jasna is watching with two Almanza's daughters from Slovenia. And let me see. Hakan Hal is saying, fantastic Almanza team. We have even a dog called Susie. Okay. And Geir Flick is saying, my hat off to Almanza team. Many questions, many comments. Yanis Vlachos watching from Athens. Anyhow, we have 250 people watching and waiting to hear your story. We have 12 minutes of the interview and 70 comments. So I think you can understand that a lot of people are very interested to hear from you. So here we start with the questions. As I said, Ragnhild, we can start with you. Can you tell us a little bit about your background in the purebred dogs? Did your family have dogs? How did you start? What was your first dog? How did you actually get involved with the world of purebred dogs?
Well, I I was begging my parents to get an own dog since I could speak, and I was terrorizing all the neighbors when they were out with their dogs. And finally, when I was 11, my parents thought, well, she needs to have an own dog. And then I got a flat coat. And since this, I had been in love with the breed.
So you got your first flat coated when you were 11.
Yes.
But your parents, they didn't have dogs. They were not breeders, or they
No,
were not
no.
showing dogs.
Not
No.
at all.
Okay. So you are the first generation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Susie, what about you?
The first I was competing in show jumping with my ponies, and then my mother bought a Chesapeake Bay Retriever. So that was my first own dog after I moved away from home. And earlier I have my first flat coats from my cousin from Kennel Decoys. And then in 93, I have my first dog from Ragnhild. And everything after that is a new story.
Yes. So also your parents were not into dogs, no?
My mother, she's a breeder.
She's a breeder.
Yeah.
Okay. So you had some background there.
Yes.
And what about you, Patrick?
Well, so I wasn't born in '93 when Susie got her first flat coat.
Why you needed to say this?
But I was born into a family with dogs. My mom had schnauzers when I was quite young, and then we had Kerry Blue Terriers. But I had to get quite old before I got my own flat coat.
You had to get quite old.
Yeah.
When you were not born in '93. Okay. That's interesting story. Okay. Anyhow, I have one question, and Ragnhild, you will have to excuse me for all the time when I hear them saying your name. I know that I'm pronouncing it probably wrong all the time, but trust me, I'm doing my best.
My name is always a challenge.
Yes. Why you didn't get some kind of nickname like Susie? Something easier. I don't know. Is there an English version of your name, like a nickname, or no?
I had actually some nicknames when I was younger. Raggan,
Okay.
for instance.
That's even worse. Okay, you don't help me.
It's difficult too.
Yes.
Yeah.
We will leave it like this.
Yeah, I think so.
I have a question from one of our viewers that I will read to you before I continue with my questions. It's from somebody that you obviously know very well. It's Zafra Sirik. She says, "Dear Ragnhild, I know how thrilled I was in Hund 1995 when I made emergency brake best in show. How did you felt that moment?"
Oh, that was fantastic. I love this dog. I got him back as a replacement dog, and I really liked him a lot, even since he was a puppy. And I regret I didn't keep him for myself, but I kept the bitch. But emergency brake was much better, a fantastic dog, and to be in the ring with him winning best in show, that was incredible.
Yeah, I can imagine that I think it's for all of us. When you win the best in show in the biggest show in your own country, it's always something special, a little bit more different. Anyhow, Michael Canalizo is saying, "I need to pay attention. I will be judging the breed shortly." Great opinion. So there is a lot of very important doggy people watching, and almost 270 of them. So I'm very happy. So I want to continue now with the story. I want to ask you, Ragnhild, how did actually, you said you got your first flat coated when you were 11, but how did actually start your story with Almanza? When did you decide that you want to breed flat coated? Where did you get your first dogs? How this idea came to you?
Yeah, First with the male I started in obedience competitions, and I had some success, and then I wanted to try other things, shows and hunting tests and so on. And there I met some fantastic friends that really inspired me. And also among them were some very good breeders. And I thought one day I will have a bitch and I will start breeding too. And this day come closer and closer. The more I was inspired, and I liked to be in these dog competitions. And then I took some help, got some help from breeder friends to take contact in the UK, and I was offered a black bitch. She was 1 year old, Wolfield Dolly mixture, and from Jennifer Morgan, and she had a lovely pedigree. I knew that the dog Wizardwood Sandpiper was a very famous dog of that time, so I thought it was a good point that she was line bred on him. I thought that might be a good start, and then I purchased her, and a little in the same way, the same time I purchased liver male from Sarah Whittaker, Bramata Kennel. So this was my two English dogs that I started with everything.
Yeah, and
Ocean Beach, yes.
yeah, and in which year actually the Almanza Kennel was established?
It was in 1981.
81. And how did you get the name? What does Almanza mean? Where did the name come from?
That's a long story. I had to ask for. I asked for 4 different names, and it was. I got the answer. No, it's already taken. And then I was putting the map in front of me because I was with my friends some interrailing. We had an interrail card. We were going by train in the whole Europe. So I was looking at the names of the cities because
okay.
I found something. And Almanza is a small town in Spain, which
okay.
I thought that I could like that after 20, 30, 40 years.
Well, that's definitely an interesting name, because I'm looking at Javier. I'm not sure that he's familiar with the city Almanza in Spain, and is it pronounced in that way or not? Probably yes, but definitely an interesting story. I was thinking it's going to be connected with a dog or something, but no, it's just a map thing. Okay, wonderful. Susie, tell me, how did you join the Almanza team and when?
Okay, I got my first black coat in '93 from Ragnhild, and before that, I start knowing her. Showed the dogs and everything, and
was she always nice to you?
Sorry.
Was she always nice to you?
Yes. So 98, she was talking about, get some help in the kennel and everything to share, all the work and the stuff. And then she asked me. I was pretty shocked, and it was a big honor to join the kennel.
Wonderful. Which year that was?
1998.
98. Okay. Yeah. And what about you, Patrick? We know now that in 1993 you were not born.
98 I was born.
Okay.
So the question is how I came into the kennel.
Yes. How did you when and how did you join the Almanza kennel?
Well, I first met Ragnhild and Susie, talked to them at the World Show in Helsinki, I think, in 2014. And after that, we met at many shows and we became closer and closer friends. And then I think Susie mentioned it, to me, oh, wouldn't that be cool, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, right, that will never happen. And then I think I was driving with Ragnhild to the airport after a show. And then she asked me, what would you think about this idea. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy.
Okay, so they have been always nice to you or not, Patrick? Tell us the truth.
Well, the truth is that, yeah, they've always been nice, even though that we were competitors in the beginning.
Yeah. Now I see. Now I see that Ragnhild, actually, she's extremely smart. She was thinking, look, there is this young talented boy. He's going to make me problems in the future, but I can be smart. I can get him to come to be with me. Okay, now I know why they call people like you master breeders. Wonderful. Okay, I want to read two of the comments for all of you that I suppose are going to be interesting for you. First one is from Jose Doval. He's saying Almansa is a very small city in Spain, about 1 hour from my home, with some interesting places to visit and a couple of wonderful restaurants. So I want to ask you, Ragnhild, did you ever visit Almansa city or not?
I just was driving through it, I have to confess, but it would be wonderful to be there one day.
Yeah. Now I think you definitely need to make a trip all together and go to Almansa to see how did this part. And you see there are wonderful restaurants. That's always a good thing. And anyhow, Jose is writing it Almansa with S, not with Z. So I suppose that's the same thing. And then one interesting question or a comment that I suppose you are going to be very happy to hear is from the president of the FCI, Mr. Tamas Jakel. He's writing, I'm not personally involved in flats, but coming from Group 8, nevertheless, wherever I have judged the breed in different continents, I tend to find Almansa dogs as my winners. The breed type and quality was so strong and obvious. I wonder how strong line breeding resulted this. I'm asking that because young generation uses the word line breeding and breeding coefficient like talking to the devil. They more eager to fill a lottery instead of that. What was your way related to this subject? I think, Ragnhild, you are the one who can the best answer to this question.
First of all, thank you, Thomas, for your wonderful words. That's nice to hear to my heart. About line breeding, I have always been fascinated about line breeding because some old breeders, experienced breeders in the UK, told me about that this is one of the best ways to get. Now I don't find the word, Patrick. Conservera.
Patrick, don't sleep.
Conservera, bevara, maintain.
Maintain.
To maintain the quality. And I really believed in that in early days, and I was looking a lot at pedigrees. And I remember when I started with flat coats, there were very many golden retriever breeders who line bred to a very famous golden male in UK, Camrose Cabus Christopher. But from all those line breeding combinations, there were so different results. So I thought that must be something more to think about, not just do a line breeding on a special dog and then think that it will automatically give winners or the top dogs. So I started to ask several experienced breeders how they were thinking about line breeding. I think I got some advice that I thought I want to try in my breeding. I like line breeding, and I think we have got some very good results out of it. But you should not line breed just to line breed. It must be planned, and the more you know about the dogs behind in the pedigree and little brothers and sisters, I think the better results, hopefully, it will be. Sometimes we will be surprised of the results, but it's fascinating, I think.
Yeah, we are going to talk more obviously about breeding and things. I will just read one more comment because in the first 25 minutes of the interview, we have already 104 comments. So obviously I cannot read them all, but I will try to catch from time to time on some questions. There are two more that I want to read for you, and then I will continue with my questions. On the same subject, maybe Susie, you can say something about this. Anna Weber is asking, why is the line breeding considered a no among flat-coated breeders? In other breeds, it's much more common to double some dogs. However, in flat coats, breeders usually do complete outcrosses. I don't know if that...
I think I have to pass that to Ragnhild because she's the brain behind this.
Okay. Ragnhild, your turn again.
Okay. My impression since many years back is that many flat coat breeders, at least in Scandinavia, are a bit scared about line breeding because they are scared to get diseases and bad things. And of course, this is very important to get the knowledge about all bad sides as well, because we double up the bad sides. So I think people are a little bit scared, and they prefer to do the more safe breeding before something they are a little bit worried about.
Yeah. Okay, and then the last question for the moment, Susie, maybe you can answer to this. It's from Andrew Brace. He's asking, when did the ladies first recognize Patrick's exceptional handling abilities? Probably the first time when you lost from him or something like this. No.
Oh, when was that?
Didn't happen, huh? When did you meet? I think it was 2014 at the World Dog Show. It was when you have first seen Patrick.
I think the first time we talked to each other, and I think your mother was at the same show then. And I liked him.
Me too.
Yeah.
May I say something?
Yes, of course you can.
I handled a male in the same class. It was in the champion class. And as usual, you take a look of the other dogs in the class. And I was looking, and then I stopped. Wow. Oh my God. Yeah. And then, wow.
Okay. Now, Ragnhild, now we need to specify this. You said you look other dogs in the class, and you said, wow. So the question was, when did you notice Patrick? Another nice dog.
Actually, it was both. It was
okay.
It was
you looked at the dog, you said wow, and then you looked at Patrick and you said wow.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did.
That sounds good to me.
It was really a magnificent team, both handler and dog. So my eyes stopped there and couldn't move.
Okay.
Who is this guy, I thought.
Yes. Okay, now I think we understand a little bit better the story.
Yeah.
Okay, the question is, now I continue with my questions. There are more questions from the viewers, but I will catch on them later. Otherwise, this is going to be the longest interview in the history of Talking Dogs. I want to ask you, Ragnhild, because obviously you are the number one person in Almanza. If you would need to explain to somebody how does the perfect flat-coated retriever looks in your eyes, what would you say that are, let's say, the most important features of the breed which are giving the right type of the breed?
Yeah, the first impression, then it's very important that the dog shows power without lumber, raciness without breediness. This is a very important line in the breed standard. And the combination of power and elegance is so important. And also the overall look, the happiness, the temperament, the character. A flat coat with a tail that is dead is not a typical flat coat. So the whole dog should show, here I am, look at me, a happiness. And then the breed is a head breed, so to speak. The head shape is very, very important. It should be long, and expression should be kind, with dark eyes, no throatiness, tight eyes, long, elegant neck, and of course, good angulations. It should be a strong top line and beautiful driving movement.
Yeah, yeah.
And the flat coat. The breed essentials is temperament, coat, head, tail. Did I forget something?
No, yeah, okay. This is what gives the main picture, let's say. Okay. I want to ask you, Susane, you are watching obviously for many years flat coated all around the world, also at crafts and many other shows. What would you say that at the moment is the biggest problem in the breed?
Oh.
Even if you think about your breeding, what it is that you would like to improve?
Maybe some of the dogs can get better, vad heter det? Parallelliteten.
Parallel movement, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, when going up and down.
Yes.
Okay, that would be a general impression that this is something that can be improved.
Yeah, and I'm thinking the top line is something, as Ragnhild said, the beautiful head and the elegance, and the top line, the whole picture is very important to me.
Yes.
Not too heavy in the body.
Yeah. Okay, that's obviously the thing that in many breeds, my guests say that some of the dogs in many breeds have become too heavy.
Yeah.
So I see this is also something that is coming in flats. Patrick, I wanted to ask you about the health. I know you spend a lot of time with your dogs outside walking and everything. Are the flat coated healthy breed? Do you need to do a lot of genetic tests? How it is with this?
Well, in general, my impression is that it's a healthy breed. It's not more unhealthy than other breeds, but unfortunately, there can be some issues with cancer. But other than that, my impression is that it's a healthy breed.
Okay. I wanted to ask you, Ragnhild, if you could change something, if somebody would offer you the possibility to change something in the breed standard, what would you change, and would you change anything?
I don't think I would change anything.
So you think the standard is quite good for your breed?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, you are one of the few lucky ones.
I think so.
Okay.
Perhaps if I could add a comment that it's very important to know when judges are going over the breed that the breed is very slowly matured. This could perhaps be added to the breed standard. That this is important, that the dog should have the top of the career in the middle of the life, not when it's 1 year or 10 years actually.
Yeah. And when you mentioned that, what it is in the flats, because obviously we know in many big breeds it happens like this, but what is actually the main part of the breed that improves with the age? Is it the top line or the movement? Are they a little bit like fluffy, not connected when they are puppies, and that comes later, or what it is actually?
Well, I should say if people, the owners, the dog owners, it's very important how they treat their dogs during all those years. If they treat the dog well and keep the dog well muscled, I think top line is still very good, and they look like adults, but they are still have the strength of a youngster, and they move like a youngster.
Okay.
Can I add something?
Of course you can.
Because this is actually something that we have discussed a lot when Ragnhild and Susie have shown pictures or videos of youngsters and we have discussed them. And it's important that they aren't like too developed at the early age, because then they can quickly be too heavy when they're finished.
Yeah, this is what Susie mentioned. Yes.
Mm.
Yeah. So it is. So it means that in the young age there should be a little bit more, let's say, elegance than
Yes.
later on. Because if they lose the elegance already, like as young dogs, then later on they become far too heavy. Okay. I wanted to ask you, Susie, one thing. Flat-coated, when we look around Europe in general, are not such a popular breed. You cannot compare the numbers, for example, with the Labradors or with the Goldens. But in Scandinavia are extremely, extremely popular, and not only extremely popular, but also extremely good quality. It is not only Almanza. There are few kennels who are breeding really good dogs. Why is the breed so popular in Scandinavia?
It's the best breed.
Obviously.
but why is the best breed only in Scandinavia, not everywhere?
I don't know why it's so popular in Scandinavia, not outside, because I think it's a breed that you can use for so much things. It's a sport dog for me. You know, you can hunt with it, field trial, obedience, you know, everything.
Yeah.
So I think it's a complete breed for me.
Okay.
But so popular just in Scandinavia, not outside. I don't know. I think in Sweden and Norway, Finland, we have many good breeders. Also, many breeders and good breeders. Yeah.
That's obviously one of the reasons, because I don't think that outside of Scandinavia you have so many top breeders of the breed. So this is like some quite strange that they are so popular there, but not in other countries. But maybe that's something that is going to change after this interview. Let's hope so. Patrick, I want to ask you. You were raised, as you mentioned, with other breeds, with the Schnauzers and with Kerry Blues. Then you got the flat-coated. How easy or how difficult is to live with the flat-coated? Does it need a lot of exercise? How they are compared to the other breeds that you have had in your life?
Well, obviously the Kerry Blue Terriers, they were, well, ours had a typical terrier temperament, especially the male that we had. You don't get that in a flat coat, nor should you. The Lhasa Apso was a typical Lhasa Apso. Didn't care about anything or anyone. She was the queen of the house, and she does what she wants to do. But the flat coat is totally different. You can do whatever you want with it, and it will be happy no matter what. It will follow you everywhere. So it's just happy-go-lucky. That's a flat coat, and it should be a flat coat.
Yeah. And do you need a lot of time, a lot of walking during the day, a lot of exercise?
Yeah,
to keep happy-go-lucky.
It's a very active breed, and it's a quite big dog. So it needs a lot of exercise to be fit, but also for the mental part, to be sane and physically well. It should be you should do other things than just walk the dogs, train agility, obedience, hunting, whatever, to keep the dog active.
Yeah. Ragnhild, I want to ask you something, and I'm going to connect it also with one of the questions that we got from our viewers. I have obviously read the story that was published in our Dogs Annual about your kennel, and you many times in this interview mentioned the hunting abilities of the breed. That this is something very important, that you have never tried to breed just beautiful show dogs, that you always wanted to have them also be preserve their hunting abilities. So my question is it still something that you are keeping in your lines? And there is a question, let me see, from, just one second, from Nerina Napoli, who is asking, would it be correct to say that Almanza strives to maintain the natural working abilities in the flat-coated retrievers that they breed?
Yes, we think it's very important. It's a very big part of being a flat coat. But in earlier days, I was spending a lot of time with training with different trainers, and I participated in field trials, and I was very active, and also in practical hunting. But when I got my son in the year 2000, I didn't get that much time anymore. But I'm training my dogs for their own well-behaving, or what, välbefinnande, Patrick, help me.
Ja, men det. Ja.
Yeah. And because it tells me all about the dog's weaknesses and their strong parts. So when we do our combinations, we have that in mind, that if this fish is a little bit, she need more braveness, we look for a male that is braver. And we think about it when we are planning, not only the show exterior details.
Yeah. Okay. I will try to catch just on some of the comments and some of the questions that we got. You guys seems to be very, very popular, which is obviously I'm always happy to say that. And there are a lot of nice comments and a lot of questions. I will just try to catch some of them because I will lose them later on, and then I will continue with my questions. Simon is saying, a kennel I always admire when I do watch the Flat Coat Ring, enjoying watching this interview. Jose Doval is saying, line breeding and inbreeding are so common in a natural selection. We, the breeders, are the substitutes of nature, so we have the obligation of having a deep knowledge about lines and pedigrees to reproduce only the good things of one line and minimize the bad things. Agneta Adstrom is saying, interesting to listen to the way of your thinking when line breeding. As you say, one must know the dogs in the pedigrees of the parents to do this. Francesco Cocchetti is saying, I think nowadays there are so strict rules in Scandinavia regarding coefficient of line and inbreeding and so on, and more checking of illnesses, which sometimes are also not even common of that specific breed. What is your thought about it? I think it's very important to have the focus in type, temper, and health, and not only in one of them. Ragnhild, maybe you can answer to this.
My English is not super, so I'm not sure I got the question 100%.
Anyhow, Francesco is saying more or less, what are your thoughts about these new rules in Scandinavia, where it is actually quite difficult to do the line breeding or inbreeding, that maybe people are too much concentrated just on one thing and not on the whole picture?
I would hope that many people would dare to try to follow what they want to do, not be that scared. That sometimes is the fact.
But how strict is it in Scandinavia at the moment? Can you do normal line breeding, or there are specific numbers how you can do it or not?
We can do a normal line breeding. We can do cousin matings, but rarely that's happening.
Okay. Yeah. Lindsay is having a question for Patrick. In his opinion, what makes a great handler?
Well, in my opinion, that's someone who can adopt to the dogs they're showing and the individuals, because not every dog is the same and can get the best out of every dog that they're showing, and maybe not always make the dogs adopt to them, but to do things, play on the dog's team, actually.
Okay. There is a question from Jill, which I'm going to ask you later. So Jill, just wait a little bit, and you will find your answer. There is an interesting comment, I think, especially for Patrick, but also for you girls, from Annika Ultveit-Mu. She's saying, I was not clever and quick enough catching Patrick in time. Well done, Ragnhild.
Thank God for that.
I suppose that Jose Doval is connecting to the thing that when I was asking what are the biggest problem in the breed at the moment. He says there are obviously problems with longer upper arms and shorter hocks. There is Sole Ragna saying, thank you all for a fantastic interview. What quality or characteristic have you found is most difficult to breed for? My computer is so bad. For and to keep in the line. What fault is the most difficult to breed out? So what is most difficult to breed for, and what fault is the most difficult to take out of your line? Ragnhild, I think you can answer this.
Okay, I should say the front construction is where it takes time to get better and better from generation to generation, and the front construction is very important for the dog's movement. I also think sloping croups and when the rear is carried under the body, not it givent the dog the good drive is so important. These two things, I should say.
Yeah. Okay, two more questions and then I continue with mine. Peter is asking, what is your opinion about the yellow flats? I don't know what does that mean, but Ragnhild, maybe you can.
It's the yellow flat coats are not. It's a disqualifying fault in the Swedish Kennel Club and many others in all other countries as well. And but there are people that want to breed yellows. They are yeah.
What is your opinion about it? Should it stay as a disqualifying fault, or you can imagine one day to have also yellow flat coated?
I'm a bit surprised that the yellow are not vad heter det? Godkända.
Allowed,
yes. But we have tried to not get yellows in our breeding. Sometimes we have yellows and we find a good puppy buyers for as pet homes, but we have not been talking a lot about, hopefully one day the yellows will be allowed. Well, I don't care a lot about it, actually. I think it's strange that the yellows are not allowed because it's nothing wrong with them. It's just the color that is different.
Okay, and you can get yellows from two blacks, or it is the
yellow must be in both parents.
And where does it come from? I mean, history-wise.
I think from the very beginning, when Golden Retriever and Labradors were more or less from the same beginning.
Yeah. Okay, and then another question for you, Ragnhild, and it's going to be the last one from the viewers for the moment, and then I continue with mine. Could you name some dogs and bitches that, in your opinion, had the most beautiful head?
It looks a bit selfish to say one of my own dogs, but the first dog I get in mind is Almanza Larry O'Grady, which I think some people will remember, because just of his head was very, very lovely head. But there are many other dogs that had lovely heads during the years.
Obviously, yes. But I think actually the question was to name one of your dogs, so that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, Susie. I think Patrick has mentioned it a little bit before that their flats are quite active dogs. Do you know a lot of puppy buyers, or you yourself? Are you trying flat coated not only in hunting but also in other sports like agility, obedience, and these things? Are they good also for other sports or not?
They are really good in other sports, and I think many owners are competing in a really high level. So yeah, you have tracking, obedience, agility. So yeah, it's
they can be used then in others, but that's great.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, Patrick, because you get a lot of compliments for your showing, obviously. I want to ask you how difficult are the flat coated, talking about the coat conditioning and preparation for the show?
Well, it depends. Well, in general, compared to many other breeds, they're quite easy, obviously. But I prefer them cleaned before the show. Some
I
clean
think
them.
Everybody prefers them. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, they're quite easy. It depends on the eye that looks. Yeah, you don't have to do a lot, but maybe I do a little bit more than some. I don't know.
Other people, you like them more clean. Okay, I want to ask you, Ragnhild, one thing, and then I will connect it with another question that we got. But I want to read again a nice comment for you, Patrick, from Andrew Brace. He says, I think the first time I noticed Patrick was at a very rainy national show where he won, I think, 4 or 5 best of breeds under me with quite different breeds, each handled beautifully in a breed-specific manner. So this is a compliment for you from Andrew. And I want to ask you, Ragnhild, when you compare the flat-coated from the time when you started with the breed, the ones that you were looking in the beginning of Albanza's story, to the flat-coated yours and from the other breeders of today, do you think that the breed has changed a lot? And if yes, did it change for better or for worse?
Oh, it has changed a lot. When I started, I was, of course, a beginner, and it took some time to get to learn how the flat coat should look. But I remember pretty well that there were some very bad construction problems, and the heads were sometimes terrible, with broad skulls and big heavy heads, and the movement was terrible, of course, because the construction was not good enough, and it was much more uneven than the breed are nowadays. So it has changed to the better, yes.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, and I will connect it with another question that we have from Tamas Jakel. He says, and I think Ragnhild, you can answer also this. He says many judges in and outside of the breed frequently mention the size of the flats are getting bigger. Do you consider it as a real Do you consider it as a real problem, or you prefer overall balance, type, and soundness, and easily forgive when size is bigger?
Well, in the breed standard, it says about size Patrik, önskvärd storlek, vad heter det?
Well, you wish for a
Yeah.
certain
Okay.
size.
It's not 61 centimeter period or something like that. It's pretty open, and it's more, in my opinion, it's more important that the dog has the power without lumber and the raciness without weediness than it's 1 centimeter up or down, because a dog can be perfect in size, but the body could be absolutely too heavy, and you couldn't see it's a flat coat, but it is right size. So power
So,
without number, type is much more important, but you should not forget about size, of course. But it's not the most important thing in the world.
yeah. Okay. Jill is probably helping with English. She's saying it's a preferred size, not a measured size.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Ante?
Tell me, Patrick.
Can I add something to my answer about grooming?
Of course you can.
Because my answer was quite silly. But I think that, because obviously in Scandinavia, Europe in general, well, England is in Europe, but we tend to groom the dogs a bit more, maybe a little bit more extreme than in the UK. But I think that the important thing, and maybe the most difficult thing, is to do it in a way that it looks still natural, and that you just clean the dogs, and not like start to overdo it. Some people do shave necks, for example, and that's totally unacceptable.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Okay. So
that's
now,
a very important point of view.
Mm.
Yeah.
Very.
okay. So shaved necks are a big no-no in the breed.
Yep.
Okay. I want to ask you, Susie, about one thing, and this is also what Tamas has mentioned, and many other people have mentioned in their comments. Obviously, people who are judges, they say many times when we judge the breed, we find Almanza dogs as our winners, and sometimes it's very easy, even without seeing the name of the dog, to know this is Almanza flat-coated retriever. What do you think that it is so specific of Almanza flat-coated? Why they are so easily recognized all around the world?
What I have heard from many people, not just judges, and usual people, is that if you see a flat coat and you see the expression, and it's many say this must be an Almanza dog. So I hope it's the expression and maybe the attitude, the style.
Okay, which let's say difference them from other breeders, so let's say so. So you think it is actually the head type, the expression, and the style. By style, we should probably mention temperament and wagging tail that Ragnhild has mentioned. This is something that is very important for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And not at least the style on the movement when they move.
Yeah.
Whatever the flat coat is doing, it should really show happiness. And here I am, that's very, very important.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to ask you, Patrick, now we are talking a little bit about this style.
This is life with a flat coat. It's everywhere. Go like that. Go like that.
I think he heard before we started the interview that you said that you are cold, so he's trying to help you a little bit. I want to ask you, and you have all mentioned it before, how important is the temperament? How important is the temperament not only for the shows but also for the dogs that you are sharing your life with? How much in Almanza you are putting? How much you are taking care of the temperaments, and also is there a difference in the temperaments between the blacks and the livers? Patrick, for you it was.
Well, first of all, when we talk, temperament is always important, and that's something that Ragnhild and Susie has always told me is super important. A flat coat should be happy, and that's what I learned from the beginning. I would not say that the temperaments are varies between livers and blacks, not between the livers and blacks that I have met.
No.
They're equal.
Okay.
Yeah.
There is one question, and well, maybe Patrick, you can answer that as the youngest one. It's from Lotten. She's saying,
Hey, Lotten.
I love hearing the interactions between the three of you. It is very clear that you respect each other. This is, of course, very important for deep discussions about breeding and planning. How did you reach this point? And did you reach it? Tell me, Patrick.
Oh, it's for me. Sorry.
Yes.
Well, I have to say that it's quite funny sometimes when we have discussions or whatever, because sometimes Ragnhild can have an idea and Susie's like, that's not happening. She totally disagrees because she doesn't like this or that. Yeah, so sometimes there can be arguments and people can disagree. But I think that in general,
it's good that you don't live together, all of you.
But I think that in the bottom of all this, we have the same picture of the ideal flat.
Okay. Ragnhild, I wanted to ask you, if I remember well, you won for the first time the title Breeder of the Year in 1996. I suppose you have repeated it many times later on. How difficult is to win Breeder of the Year in Sweden?
Oh, it's a very hard competition. There are so many breeders with excellent dogs, excellent groups, and this makes it very fun because it's a big challenge, and we mostly have really to think to combine our groups. Sometimes we just pick out 4 dogs among the dogs that is entered to the shows, but to the biggest shows, which are most important, we plan very carefully which dogs we will have in the group and which handlers and so on, who are available and are going on very well with just those dogs. Because handler and dog together, as we have to speak about, are very important.
Absolutely. And tell me, Susie, I want to ask you, because I have seen a lot of these pictures of you all dressed in the same clothes. Obviously, we are looking forward to see Patrick also in yellow and black quite soon.
He has yellow trousers.
Okay.
Not anymore.
I want to ask you, do you enjoy showing in the breeders group, and how much of preparation does it take? Is it something that you want to do like this in a way that you are all dressed in the same way and everything? How serious do you take it?
Very serious.
Can you explain a little bit how serious?
No, I love this kind of competition because it involves more people. I love the teamwork, and you can bring puppy buyers and everything, and planning the clothes and everything. So that's my mission.
That's it. I don't know why, but you see, I had in my mind that you are behind this story.
Yeah.
Okay, Patrick, tell me. Now you are quite young. Do you think that flat coateds are your breed?
Yes, definitely.
Good.
At first,
good.
Yeah, I can't imagine life without flat coats. It's just a fantastic breed. So that's definitely the breed that I want to have keep going. But that doesn't mean that I don't want to have something else on the side.
Of course.
But first of all, flat coats.
It's it's like in a relationship, you know. You have this one that you like, but it doesn't mean that you don't want to have something on the side. Okay, enough joking. I have now some quick questions that I would like that each one of you answer. Let's do it this way that I don't need to say every time. Let's always keep Ragnhild to answer the first one, and then Susie can be the second one, and Patrick can be the third one to answer. There are a few questions, and they are the same for all of you. What I want to say before we start with the quick questions, just once again to everybody who is watching, and it's a lot of people watching, make a photo of your screen, put it on Instagram, tag me, and put hashtag Talking Dogs with Ante. I will share it later in my Instagram stories. I always like to see that people are watching, and obviously there are a lot of people from younger generations. I will really appreciate that you do that. Okay, here are the questions. As I said, there are a few questions, and they are same for all of you. Ragnhild, you're first to answer. Is there a breed you never had at home and you would like to?
One more time, please.
Is there a breed that you never had at home, but you would like to have it in the future?
Yes, I like many breeds, but now we have just a little Daxi girl in our home. So right now I have not been thinking about one more breed.
Something new. Okay. What about you, Susie?
I have had Basset for de Bretagne, but for the moment just flat coats. I really like the red iris setters, but my friend who breeds them, they are pretty crazy. They're more crazy than flat coats. But I really like the breed, or maybe if I could find something smaller, you know, like a dachs or something.
Okay. What about you, Patrick?
Then it would be an Afghan hound or a smooth-haired fox terrier. Best of both worlds.
That's an interesting combination. Okay. One dog of any breed that you have seen any time in the past that has not been obviously bred on or shown by you, that you remember as, let's say, one of the most impressive dogs that you have ever seen in your life. Ragnhild, you?
When I started to go to shows, I was really admiring many of the big breeders in several breeds. But one dog I really admired was Afghan hound, Elkerias Hastafer, black and tan Afghan hound that was incredible. And I was so close to buy an Afghan hound. That was a wonderful dog. I will.
So now you can buy it and give it to Patrick, and he will take care of it.
Yeah,
I bought it for you.
What about you, Susie?
A memory that I have, I don't remember the year, but it's a Welsh Springer Spaniel, Metsgard's Moonlight Valley. I remember that dog. I think it was best in show in Stockholm or something. Do you remember, Ragnhild?
yes.
Yeah, that's a dog that I really remember. I think it was fantastic.
Yeah, and you, Patrick?
I remember I was at the World Dog Show in Stockholm when was that? 2008?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I think it was 2008.
I was not born then.
Everyone was waiting in the car for me. They had packed and we were ready to leaving. But then when I was walking past the main ring, I saw that group 10 was in, and there was this gorgeous Afghan hound moving in the ring, and it just took my breath. And that was Agajari's reflection of Xenos with Camilla Tell.
Okay. Camilla has just right like a few seconds ago. She wrote, "I knew the Afghan." So obviously, okay. My next question, and I really wonder if you are going to agree on that, is what would be the best Almanza dog you bred till now? What would you say, Ragnhild?
That was not an easy question.
I know. Everybody say that.
Well, that's really difficult. I was very, very pleased with Almanza I Hate Mondays and Larry O'Grady, of course. They, Hector, it was the call name of I Hate Mondays. He was very similar to Larry O'Grady in every details. Well,
okay, I can leave you with these two. It
yes,
can be two. What would be Susie your favorite Almanza of all times?
The strongest memory, of course, Larry, and then I must say my own male. Let's mingle and single. I just love the way he looked.
Now I need to ask who is finding the names for the dogs, because I like a lot of Almanza names.
Yes. We have a puppy buyer, Annika Wikström. She's really good.
But it was only that name. But
No.
lovely dog, lovely name.
Yeah. And Patrick, what about you?
Well, since I've only been part of this quite short, I will say one dog that I hate, that I haven't got to see live. I've seen pictures and videos and think that this dog just looks absolutely gorgeous. And that's actually the dog that Ragnhild named. I Hate Mondays. It looks gorgeous.
Okay. Another question for you, Ragnhild. You start the best flat-coated that you have ever seen, not bred or owned by you.
I was judging the breed specialty in the Netherlands in 2012, and there were a lot of dogs, and class after class came, and there were some lovely dogs, and there were some not that lovely dogs, and I was waiting and waiting for the wow dog, and finally she came, and she really took my breath away, and I should be so happy if I could take her with me back home. And it was so funny story, because she really stood out, and I couldn't say anything that was not perfect in this dog. And I was judging I was doing the bitches, and Short Jobse was doing the males, and we were totally agreed that she should be best in show. And afterwards, I was very curious, which is this dog? And when the owner passed us judges, when we were sitting to have a cup of coffee afterwards, she was on her way to the parking place. I said, "Excuse me, your bitch was so lovely. Can you tell me what is her name and where is she coming from?" Well, she was coming from Belgium, but she was bred in Denmark, and the father was my the Almanza Burberry goodie bag. So that was nothing I could ever expect, and I'd never seen the woman before. So that was quite fun.
Okay.
It's lovely, lovely bitch.
What about you, Susie?
Oh, I really like Castle Rock Simply Magic, Dublin. It's one of my best friends who owns him, so you know him private. So I think that was a really, really nice dog.
Okay, and you, Patrick?
Well, I would say I actually don't remember the pedigree name, but there's this one breeder in Russia that has this gorgeous bitch. To me, she's really, really nice. Of course, has her faults, but overall, I think she's really pretty.
Okay. We are going back with the new questions. Ragnhild, you first. If you were to win Best in Show at the World Dog Show in Stockholm, under which judge you would like to win it?
Oh my God. Oh, That was another difficult question.
You must know by now that I have only difficult questions. I don't do easy questions. What would you consider to be like somebody that you admire in the dog world as a judge?
The problem is that I am admiring so many.
Yeah. Everybody say this. Everybody say this. But you choose one.
Well,
it can be from Sweden or it can be from anywhere in the world.
Yeah. Oh, that was an easier question, please.
Okay, Susie,
Yeah.
we give her a little bit time to think. Can you answer the question?
If I'm thinking,
be smart. Be smart.
Yeah. Are judged on world dog shows that really appreciate our breeder groups. So I think I will say Thomas Jackel.
Okay. Yeah. What about you, Patrick?
Well, I think that I will go a little bit further and say that I would want to win the breed under Per Iversen, group under Frank Kane, and best in show under either Espen Eng or Pat Trotter from the States.
Oh, you
got amazing dog people.
You got really prepared for this question. Okay, Ragnhild, you found the way to mention 4. Ragnhild, can we go back to you? Did you think a little bit of that?
What could?
Did you think of one name?
I could say also. I remember Thomas Jackel has many times appreciated our breeders groups, as Susie said. So, well, if I have to mention one name, it would be Thomas Jackel. I agree to Susie there.
Okay, wonderful. There is a person, and I suppose you will be happy to hear about that, Ragnhild. It's a comment from a person. From our viewer called Pascal van Gestel, saying thank you Ragnhild, remembering Cayenne, Wisbank's Philippa K, her victory at the Dutch Club show so well, such an impression she made that day.
This is the bitch I mentioned. She impressed me so much.
Yes, I can understand. Let me see just if I can catch. Okay, here it was a comment from Tamas Jakel, who said, I'm glad I gave best of breed to I Hate Mondays in the European Dog Show. Anna Sabo is saying, Almanza, impossible to put into words how just grand this name is. Let me see. Peter is saying, we hope the grandchild of Hate Monday will get nice prizes and titles in Hungary in the future. Julia Fursova is saying Casino Almanza, quite the thing, one of the most beautiful male flat-coated retrievers. Okay, and Alexia is saying Almanza is the most influential kennel in the retriever breeds. So a lot of nice comments coming in your way. I gave you a little break so I can continue with my difficult questions.
Can it be more difficult?
They can be, of course they can be. If you would need help with choosing the pick up of one litter, who outside of Almanza team you would invite to help you choose the puppy? It can be a judge or a breeder or a friend.
Yeah, I should say Hanne Kongsgårdvik in Norway, Kennel Hannemors, which is very humble. She has a lot of knowledge. She has prefer the same type as we do, and she has picked out super puppies during so many years in her own breeding, and I really admire her breeding.
That's very nice to hear and to say from a breeder, to say something about a fellow breeder like that. Who would you invite, Susie?
I would invite Annette Irene, Kennel Calcit.
Okay, and you, Patrick?
My mom.
Okay.
Oh,
You are being very, very smart and well prepared tonight. You don't say a lot, but when you say, it's very well arranged. Okay, Ragnhild, next question. One dog person which is not alive anymore and you terribly miss.
Oh, I should say Britt-Marie Brulin, Kennel Pu's kennel, was one of the most important persons in my life. In the beginning, she bred fantastic flatcoats and she bred fantastic Labradors, and she had a great inputs in the flatcoat foundation in Sweden, and also in Labradors. And she was an amazing personality. She really could speak out, and people were listening. And she was so wise, and I really admired her.
Okay, wonderful. Susie, what about you?
Can I mention two?
Yes, you can.
Then I will say Kenneth Ed and Ole Stansker from Denmark.
Okay.
Mm.
Yes, two great dog men, absolutely.
Yeah.
No doubts about that. What about you, Patrick? Do you have another smart answer?
Well, yeah, because I actually don't think that I have known people like personally that I miss
Okay.
that have passed away that I can think of.
Okay, so that's fine. You are lucky. You are lucky. Okay, going back to you, Ragnhild, what would you say that it was? It doesn't need to be the most successful, but the most exciting flat-coated of your own that you have ever shown.
Oh, that's Larry O'Grady. It was the first dog I had that was so very special compared to all other dogs. And it was so fun and a joy to show him in the ring, because he never stopped. The tail was wagging, and he really was showing himself with joy, and he was so beautiful. When I had him standing in front of me, he was just wagging his tail and looking in my eyes. Come on, Mom, now we do. And I was just waiting to run with him because his movement was so beautiful. So this was a very specific,
exciting dog. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. What about you, Susie?
Two sisters, Strike of Luck and End of Discussion. I have the opportunity to show them very, very often on shows. Both very special.
I go back to say that Almanza names are really, really nice. All of them. And what about you, Petrushka?
Well, obviously, my own special one, Baxter. He's just the way he is. His personality is just unbelievable, and he's very much like his father, Lucas.
Okay.
Two very special dogs to me.
Okay. Tell me, Ragnhild, what would you consider to be the most incredible win of your career?
I have to say two, because
it's okay.
If it's okay. I won Best in Show at the big Stockholm show with Larry O'Grady in 1991. It was so unexpected, and it was such a feeling to run in this big ring. I never thought that would be possible, that I and a dog could do that. And next time was when I won first Best of Breed at Crafts with I Hate Mondays. That was unbelievable. This is not happening, I thought. And in the group, and it was under a breed specialist, Miss Ann Kilminster. It was absolutely out of any expectations. And then I had to go into the group, and he was reserved group winner there under, well, help me. No.
Oh God,
you will get to it.
Frida Marshall. Sorry, now.
Okay.
That was unbelievable.
What about you, Susie?
It was my first World Dog Show in Netherlands. I showed Almanza Roundabout, and we got best of breed. And trust me, I cried like a baby.
I can trust you.
Yeah.
It happens. It
I
happens.
was so happy. It was so special moment.
Yeah. What about you, Patrick?
Well, it's not with an Almanza dog, but obviously there's Almanza behind. It was Crufts when Alta Flats Ain't I'm a Dog was best of breed and group second.
Okay, excellent. There is another comment or two comments, or let's say 3 comments that I will read you that I think are going to make you happy. First one is from Fredrika Ronquist. She's saying Bat Brulin was a very special person indeed. Then Yasmina, I'm not going to try to read the surname, is saying, I would like to mention the 2 liters out of Torpedo's Wood Magic and Almanza Bag of Tricks. That was, in my opinion, one of the true Almanza masterpieces. All the puppies out of that litters that I have seen in real were just so typical Almanzas of highest flat-coated retriever standard. And then there is a comment from Frank Björklund, who is saying the legendary Larry O'Grady, 5 times best in show at the world famous Skockloster show. Proud to have been reserved to him on one of these occasions. A truly great flat-coated retriever with such a special personality with his voice. So I would say that he liked to bark, I would say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see. This is for her. Okay. Next question would be the best crafts memory. I think Ragnhild has mentioned and Patrick has mentioned. Would you stay with the same one or you would change it?
I stay with the same.
Okay, Patrick, you too. Susie,
Right.
do you have a favorite crafts experience?
Yes, I won the junior class with Baxter's little sister Pepsi.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got the both reserve CCs with Strike of Luck and Burberry goodie bag.
Yeah.
Nice.
Very nice.
Yes. I want to ask you another difficult question. One breeder of any breed who always impress you with the quality of his dogs. It can be from Sweden or from anywhere in the world. Ragnhild, you start, please.
There are many fantastic breeders all around the world that has impressed me much during the years. So it's very difficult to pick out one. But I would say Henrik Frykstrand of the Jumist Golden Retrievers. He is so dedicated and he is really got the same type over the years and also healthy dogs, lovely temperament. A breeder to admire.
Okay, wonderful. Susie, what about you?
Exactly the same breeder that I have in mind, Henrik Frykstrand.
Okay, what about you, Patrick?
Well, I would probably say someone in Norway, Vibeke Poulsen and Kalle de Berge, Kennel Statesman, breeders that I've looked up to since I was very young.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, here is the last of the quick questions and last of the difficult questions. Let's see how you are going to go with that. And just for this last one, I'm going to change the order. Patrick, you will be the first one to answer.
No.
I want that you describe Susie and Ragnhild just with one word.
Distré, hva det på engelsk?
I don't know.
I don't know the English word.
Okay, so find one that you know.
Okay, Susie, very happy.
Okay, that's
yeah, happy.
Okay.
Ragnhild gets 3 all over the place.
That's 4. You have not been good in mathematics when you were young, I'm sure about that. Okay, Susie, now you.
Ragnhild. Vad säger man glömsk, Patrick?
Jag vet inte.
I don't know the one word, but you know, she forgot everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Patrick. Happy. Jag ska säga åt ni. Eller Bubble. Bubble.
Okay. Bubble boy. Okay, and now you, Ragnhild, because you found both of them. So
I say Patrick, talented, Susane, inspiring.
Oh, wonderful! That's very nice.
Oh, love you.
We really need to take an English class.
Yeah.
We're horrible.
You were saying that you are going to be a help for Ragnhild for her English, and at the end, she doesn't have any problems with her English. She finds all the time perfect words without any problems. Okay. Okay. I have only few more questions for you. We have already been talking for 1 hour and a half. We are still with almost 250 people watching it live, which is amazing. Before I start that, let me just ask you the question from Peter. How do you choose that amazing and funny names? Do you have a dictionary? Have you ever summarized the already used names? So who takes care of the names usually?
Ragnhild.
It's usually me. I love to figure out names, but in the beginning it was pretty easy, but over the years it got more and more difficult to find out.
I can imagine.
But it could be some sentence I hear on television, or I can read something and hear something. And I remember during some years I admired some names from Elisabeth Drake, standard poodle in Sweden. So I think a few names come from her during this period or the years after, and but mainly it is sentences I snap up from television or newspapers.
Okay.
Other things.
Okay. When we are on the same subject now, do you know maybe what is the number of the dogs or litters that you bred during the years?
Pardon?
How many litters or how many dogs did you breed in Almanza during all these years? Do you know the number maybe?
Yes, another difficult question. But we used to have about 5 litters a year nowadays. So as long as people are asking for our dogs and like them, and we have the passion as we still have, we will continue with that. But I'm not 20 anymore, so I hope Patrick will take over.
But do you know how many puppies or how many litters did you breed in all these years, or you don't know the number?
I don't know.
You don't know. This is something interesting. This is something you should try to check. I think it must be a very impressive number.
Yeah.
Okay. I will stay with you, Ragnhild, now. And we have been talking a little bit about this before because there have been questions about this. I want to ask you to explain a little bit your breeding strategy, meaning how do you decide which dog you are going to mate with which one? Which do you do a lot of outcrossing? How do you do it?
It's a combination of outcross and line breeding, but when we line breed, we don't do that every time, but we do that with careful thinking before, because we want to have more positive things out of it than negative things out of it, of course. So we have a lot of litters that are outcross as well, and we think that we want to maintain the stylish elegance with power and the temperament. So we look a lot at the pedigrees behind and the little brothers and sisters of the dogs we are thinking could be suitable for mating.
Okay. Susie, I want to ask you, at what age and how do you choose the puppy, for example, that you want to keep, or the puppy that you want to sell for a show home?
I think we usually make the last decision when the puppy are 8 weeks, and sometimes Ragnhild keeps maybe 3-4 from a litter, so they can, maybe 12 weeks or something before we decide.
Okay, so you are one of these people.
The older they get, the easier it is to pick the right one, of course.
Yeah.
Yes, we are all facing the same problems from time to time when we cannot decide. Anyhow, before I ask Patrick your question, I want to tell you that Yasmina found an answer on RAS data that, if that is correct, that you have bred 1,718 puppies till now.
Oh, wow.
So that's
number.
Yeah, that's a very impressive number. And then, for example, you have a comment from Alexandra Wolf, who says, "Thank you, Almanza team, for all the fantastic flat coatings that you have bred." So there are a lot of people, obviously, who appreciate everything that you have done for the breed. I want to ask you, Patrick. Obviously, at this point, Almanza is very much a teamwork. Is it that you all do everything, or there is something specific that each one of you is like, do you divide the things and you say, Patrick will do this, Susie will do this, Ragnhild will do this? How does it work?
Well, it's quite natural because Ragnhild obviously is the mastermind behind the breeding. But we also, she asked us what we think about combinations, we discuss, we can come with a different set of eyes on things. But at the end of the day, it's Ragnhild's decision. Susie, of course, is the #1 planner of everything, and follows up puppy buyers all the time. Yeah. And I'm just,
and you?
I'm just learning and doing what I'm told.
Okay, so you are trying to be a good boy for the moment. Okay, now there is one question again there are only 3 questions till the end of the interview. And these 3 questions are for each one of you. We answer again in the same way: Ragnhild first, Susie second, Patrick third. The first question is, what qualities you appreciate most in the judge, and do you prefer all-rounders or breed specialists?
I appreciate when the judge can see the overall look, not getting obsessed in teeth or in feet or in special little things. I think it's very important to see the whole dog.
Okay, and you prefer to show under all-rounders or breed specialists?
Breed specialists, I have to say then, because I think it's but also all-rounders. But I like to hear critical comments from other judges, and breed specialists are, of course, able to do
more detailed
criticism. Yes.
Yeah. What about you, Susie?
Oh, I really agree with Ragnhild and about the dogs and how the judges would appreciate them. And of course, I maybe prefer breed specialists, but still we have a lot of good all-round judges.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Patrick?
I totally agree. The most important thing and that I prefer in a judge is that they look at the overall picture of the dog. Don't focus on certain details, but the overall dog and type. When I don't care if of course it's nice to win under under a breed specialist, but to me it's just as much fun to show under a judge that is an all-rounder, that is a breeder, and has bred dogs, that has won a lot.
Of
in
any
his or
breed.
her own breed. Yeah.
Okay. Next question, and Andrew Brace is going to be so proud of me because I finally learned to say that this is my penultimate question for tonight. All three of you will answer to it. If you would need to give an advice to someone young who wants to become successful in breeding, showing, or judging, what advice would you give, Ragnhild?
When I was young, I thought I was listening a lot to the older breeders and judges and experienced ones. And of course, they don't know everything, but I think it's important that the generation pass over their knowledges to the younger. So I should say, listen carefully to the people that are worth listening to, and there are so many.
Yeah, wonderful. What about you, Susie?
I think get a mentor that you trust. I think that is important. Ragnhild is the best mentor ever.
I can imagine that because everything what she says it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So that's for sure. What about you, Patrick?
Well, I would say listen, and maybe don't hurry. Take your time, learn, but at the same time, be true to yourself. And like, if you have a vision in your mind about what you want or how you interpret the standard, stay true to that. But of course, you have to be open for input from those who has a lot more of knowledge and wisdom.
Okay. Okay. And then the last question for tonight for all of you, with all the things that are happening in the dog world, with all the animal activists and everything starts to be forbidden and the grooming and this and that, how do you see the future of the sport? Are you optimistic or are you pessimistic? What is going to happen with the dog sport, with breeding, with dog shows, let's say in the near future? Ragnhild, you are the first one.
I'm an optimistic person in general, and I would like to hope that it will be something good in the end. But I think it's important that people dare to complain when something bad, too much bad rules are taking place. Because if we don't say or complain, we are silent, then it's like we accept it. Everybody have to to say what they
what they think about the new things. Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of rules are being done, and we have mentioned it many times, are being done by the people who have no connection with the dogs. So obviously, I think it is important that when big decisions are being made, that people like you talk about it and give their advice. So anyhow, Ragnhild is optimistic. What about you, Susie?
I'm also optimistic, and hopefully with the help from all the kennel clubs, they will help people, and all these new rules that which countries have, so they can help all the people so they can keep their own breeds and not stop breeding them because of these rules. I think it's really important. And overall, that people be kind to each other.
Yeah, this is definitely something that we need. What about you, Patrick?
Well, regarding restrictions on health and stuff like that, I'm not that optimistic. I think that it's impossible to get away from it. We should try. Maybe we will get lucky. But I think that the world, it's just becoming more and more regulated. So it's impossible. But for the dog world in general, I'm optimistic. I think that we have a lot of young people that are excited to move forward, and we just have to be willing to learn, and others have to be willing to share what they know.
Yeah, this is true. Okay, this was more or less all for tonight. I have really enjoyed to talk with all of you. I'm happy that we have managed to talk in a way that everybody had the possibility to say something. It was very, very inspirational, really nice. It's one of these few interviews that has been followed completely during the 2 hours with almost 250 people live. We got in 2 hours 206 comments. So obviously I didn't read most of them. I hope that you will find time to read all of them, because the interview after this is going to be available both on Best in Show magazine's Facebook page and on in Talking Dogs with Ante group. I want to thank to 3 of you for accepting my invitation and for all the knowledge and all the experience that you have shared with us. I think it's also in a way very interesting story with 3 of you showing something that is not maybe so usual, but is very, very positive and very nice to see. And this is that Ragnhild, obviously, as a mastermind behind the whole story, has give opportunity to younger people who came later on and gave them the possibility to become a part of this extremely successful story. I think this is very admirable, and I think this is just proving how clever and passionate you are about your breed and about the dogs in general. As I said, this is a month of master breeders. My next guest next Wednesday is Francesco Cocchetti, FCI All Breed judge and the breeder of the San Gimignano kennel, which mostly, obviously, most famous for the Chihuahuas, but also a few other breeds. So I'm sure this is going to be also a very interesting interview. For the end of this, I will just read you a few comments so that you can know that people have really appreciated your time. Anna Luce Saletti saying thank you for the beautiful interview. Elena Johansson saying go Almanza team, I'm proud to belong to that family. Doug Locken saying so lovely to see you all, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge, super team. Julia saying thank you so much for this interesting evening. Let me see. Angelica Plessis saying thank you for this great talk. I have been showing flats for nearly 10 years and Almanza dogs always took my breath away at shows all over the world. Good luck. Teamwork makes the dream work. Annette Rose is saying super interview. Thank you so much. Jessica is saying thank you for all inspiration and knowledge from this amazing team. Lindsay is saying thank you for this great interview. Really enjoyed it. Emma Johansson saying so lovely to see you all. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge. Super team. I'm proud to belong to that family. Romy saying Patrick is a perfect example for the young people, friendly, respectful, and always keeps growing and learning. Great job. Elizabeth Rodin saying thanks a lot, Almanza team, for a great interview. Claudia saying heya Almanza team. Frank saying very enjoyable interview. Vanya saying thank you all so much, really inspiring, happy and bonded team. A lot of people that I don't know, a lot of people writing thank you so much for the interview. So you can see it all. We have get like okay, let's one that I'm sure you will be happy to read is from Sjord Jobse, who is saying amazing interview with amazing people, and both Henrik and I admire them always. So you will see we got in like 3 or 4 minutes, last minutes of the interview, we got 49 comments of people from all around the world thanking you for sharing your time and experience with us. So this is really amazing. I'm giving to all of you last words of my show tonight. Maybe to say a few words to everybody who was watching, and maybe to share some of your future plans? What are your plans? Is there something exciting growing in the kennel and waiting for the shows to start again? Let's start with you, Patrick. Your last words for tonight.
Well, my last word will be best of luck to everyone, and I hope that a lot of young people got inspired from this interview. And I can definitely say that at Eskilstuna there are some really nice, hopeful dogs.
Okay, what about you, Susie?
Yeah, thank you, Ante, for inviting us. It was a pleasure to do this, and I hope everyone watching that they enjoyed these hours with us.
No doubts about that. With 254 comments, I think you will all be very proud to read all the nice people, all the really nice comments that people left for you. Okay, and I think we will all agree, Ragnhild, you deserve to close the show tonight. What you have to say?
First of all, I want to thank you for the invitation. It was a wonderful and new challenge, and it was lovely to be here. And thank you to all who are here with us. And I hope you enjoyed the interview. And I really wish that everyone have a wonderful new year and the future with our breeding, handling, whatever you do. Good luck. And as Susie said, be kind to each other. It's very important. The dog world is for everyone.
Wonderful.
Respect each other. Thank you
Wonderful.
very much. Thank you.
You didn't disappoint also with your last words, Ragnhild. It was a great pleasure to spend my evening with you. Thank you everyone for watching. See you next Wednesday, same place, same time. Good evening, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.